Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Iro here. Guys, please be sure to like the video, subscribe, do all that stuff, leave comments, leave any feedback, good or bad, whatever it is you want to say in the comments below, please. So, as you've seen from the title of the video, we're going to be focusing on Modern Warfare 2019 and 2022. So, full 2.5-ish years later, approaching on 3 years, and we've already had 2 Call of Duty games released since this one. And so let's get the elephant out of the room. Modern Warfare 2019 is 10 times better than the 2 most recent titles, which would be Black Ops Cold War and of course our latest one, Vanguard. Black Ops released, it was, bug free, it was a smooth game, but it didn't seem complete. It didn't seem like a full game. I didn't feel like I was getting a full $60 game when I played it. It didn't feel great. I maybe played it for about a month and a half and then threw it to the side, got rid of it. Vanguard, that released with tons of bugs, tons of visual bugs, mechanical bugs. The weapon camo challenges don't even track properly. They still don't, I don't think. They didn't release with the anti-cheat we were promised. That came later. Modern Warfare 2019 hit a better approval rating than both of these games combined on release, and it's absolutely incredible. It's insane. The game was phenomenal in my opinion. I just wanted to make this video to talk about how good we really had it with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, and I hope they continue its legacy into Modern Warfare 2, which we're supposed to be getting in November or October of this year, I believe. I think they moved some of the dates around, but it is rumored and linked that we'll be getting Modern Warfare 2. I think it's important that we go back, take a step back, and look at things from Modern Warfare that really made it good. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on things like the engine, the campaign, multiplayer a little bit, but when it comes to the multiplayer, I'll focus kind of more on the smaller things that made it good, and of course, Warzone. And I think the thing that really made this game great were all the small details and a lot of the real-world aspects and a lot of the advice that they had taken from real-world operators that made this game what it is today and just made it how good it is. And I think that's a big reason as to why there's still a community behind it and such a big, even like Reddit postings and just a big multiplayer fan base behind it today. So quickly, guys, I just wanted to review the engine here. At the time, Modern Warfare released with the latest and greatest engine, IW 8.0, and that soon got integrated into Warzone, and now it's got an improved version of it in Vanguard. However, I still think the Modern Warfare engine feels so much smoother, the slide canceling feels smoother, the movements look smoother. It just seems kind of Vanguard kind of, tweaked the engine in all of the wrong ways, in my opinion. But, on release of Modern Warfare, we had smooth slide canceling, good weapon mechanics, good gunplay. Every weapon felt, unique. The movements and animations from walking to sprinting to tac sprinting all seemed tailored to what weapon class you were using. And, a realistic movement. It wasn't quick and jerky. It looked super smooth, super clean. I think the engine did a good job of keeping things realistic, yet still fun for the gamer. Obviously, people on the battlefield aren't going to be sliding around and slide canceling in real life, No one's going to be hitting the aid and slide cancel, but, things like that still made the game fun. But, all the movements and, animations all look so clean and so good. I really, hats off for the engine. I think this is definitely one of the best game engines that I've ever played on. I think it, the weapon play, the movement, all just felt amazing. Now, with that said, let's move on to the campaign. The campaign's realism, complex story, that is all thanks to Kaylor Kurosaki, I hope I said that right, and Jacob Minklov. If you don't know who these two are, these two were previous developers for Naughty Dog, specifically the series Uncharted. It's a PlayStation exclusive. Maybe some of you haven't played it because it is an exclusive, but if you have, you know how well developed and sculpted this story of Nathan Drake was. It was absolutely phenomenal. The mechanics, the play felt super smooth, super nice, and overall I think that game was amazing when it came to the story and to the way that it played. And I think in Modern Warfare, down from the iconic Captain Price lines, Bravo 6 going dark, or even, your Michael Bay moments where, things are exploding, there's helicopter blades hitting the ground, all sorts of stuff like that. I think these two are, major components that played into how the campaign story, was sculpted. And I think they took a lot of inspiration from real life military operators, which I think adds an even more immersive feeling when, taking into consideration their feedback and the things that they gave. Things down from the gear, weaponry, the kit, the squad tactics was a large, part of how it made the game feel authentic. And I think of how the campaign totally transformed what we thought a Call of Duty could do. Because, a lot of the Call of Duty campaigns, they felt good, but story-wise, they didn't seem in the realm of realism. There's always something kind of goofy, silly going on. It's this guy's trying to destroy the world, let's go get him. But with this one, I really felt like it was motivated in, a different direction, again, in the realm of realism, because in this campaign, we had a lot of real-world places and events that the game was based off of. I think they still kept it within the idea of realism, but again, still making it fun for the player. I think they did a really good job at mixing those two. I also want to take a look at two of the most iconic campaign missions we have to date. The first one being Shoot House. This mission, I think, was well researched and well developed for the campaign. I believe it's based actually off a real operation that took place, the British SAS in London, taking down a very similar house. I think it's super accurate to that real world mission. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is something that actually did happen. So things down from the weapons used, they're using M13s with silencers, with PECs, they have quad nods on, they're going to sweep and clear the house, and it looks absolutely amazing. I think this was probably the most immersive and, fun mission they had, even though it was so short, but it was just so realistic. Everything down to the choreographed movements and clearing motions, down to, two-tapping your targets. It was absolutely phenomenal. I think this one, hats off. It was absolutely amazing. And, I've seen many videos online on YouTube of real-world operators, Army Rangers, Green Berets, Special Forces guys that all watched, the mission, and they just talk about how realistic it is, how good the movements are, and, how real world it really felt. And, again, it comes down to that level of immersion. I thought this campaign had me fully immersed, turn the lights off, get in there, Bravo 6 going dark. It just feels so good. And it was one of the best missions, in my opinion, that we've ever had in Call of Duty history. It is still the best mission, in my opinion, in this game. Next, I also want to talk about the Embassy mission. Again, this one was based on real-world events, the U.S. Embassy attack in Benghazi in 2012. A lot of people were involved with that, whether, military or civilian or government employees. Tons of things happening in this mission. We even had a more recent attack in Baghdad in early 2020. So again, this is all based on things that happen, in real life that, soldiers have to deal with. In this mission, you see everything from a son and father being executed down to, having to navigate a government official through rooms of terrorists without being caught. And, then it kind of ends out with you being ambushed in the middle of the night, just as, you would at a crowd of angry terrorists in the middle of the night when you're, most susceptible to an attack. And again, I think the game kept it realistic and fun. You do everything from, popping flares, see enemies out in the open field, down to, calling in targets for missile strikes from an MQ-9, which, has a special place in my heart in daily life. I think they really implemented a lot of aspects that the military have here, whether it's, air support, down to, having to use flares, down to, using certain types of tactics and, holding up a position so that others can evacuate. I think, again, just wrapping it up, the campaign felt absolutely phenomenal and did everything so well within, the most immersive and real world way possible while still keeping it fun. Alright, so next here, guys, I'm going to be talking about multiplayer. I'm not really going to be talking about the actual gameplay itself or the, the maps. I think that's something the individual should decide. I found the multiplayer to be great. Again, that's really all up to the engine for me. But I'm going to focus on things like the gunsmith, your inspects and tracer rounds, the little small things they add, and operator skins. So here, let's kick it off with the gunsmith. I think this is probably one of the best things they've ever added into Call of Duty to date. Just being able to, see your weapon fully kitted out the way that you want it, with all the attachments that you want, and being able to, inspect it, check it out, do the little preview animation. It's so, so cool. I think they really did the gun world justice here. Any gun fanatic knows that now rifles are so modular. You can, swap out anything on the rifle to kit it to how you want it to be. I think it really did a good job of this, having multiple attachments in each category. You can have different suppressors, different barrels, different underbarrels. Whereas before in Call of Duty, you'd maybe have, one or two options for, end of your barrel, one or two options for maybe an underbarrel, which most likely would be a grenade launcher, maybe different mag sizes, and that was kind of it. But now you have all of these options, totally fully kit out the weapon the way that you want it. And I think it's super cool, and I think it does justice, again, to what people are doing out in the real world, whether it's civilian or in the military, just being able to totally kit out and swap out any attachment you really want on your AR. I even think it was really cool that they did, you could take a AR style rifle and build it out to an SMG, to where, you could change the munition type, maybe make stock adjustments, maybe change the barrel around, and then you kind of have a more compact AR. And I think a good example of that was, the M4A1. You could throw a smaller barrel on there, no stock, and throw on like the 32 9mm rounds, which is possible, but it does look kind of goofy. So it's in the realm of possibility, but more on the less serious side. But again, people still used it. I still thought it was sick. Super cool. Now, talking about the inspects and tracers, these are just some of the smaller details that I thought made the game cool and, gave the player a little bit more of that entertainment value. Weapon inspects have been in games for quite some time, but I think Call of Duty did a really good job with theirs. Each weapon has a unique weapon inspect, and, you can view, both sides of the weapon, check out the mag. And I think one of the best things they did is, like, if your weapon's empty, there's going to be no ammunition in your magazine. So they kept it really realistic in that sense that, you have no ammo, there's not going to be any bullets in your magazine when you inspect it. Again, it's a small thing they add to just check out your personalized weapon, but again, I think it's pretty cool. I even think the melee weapons have their own kind of feel to it when you weapon inspect them. I think they did, a really good job at just making it something small in the game to kind of look at. Maybe you do before the match is starting, inspect your weapon, inspect your melee. It just added something to the game. And again, tracer rounds, I think these just added something small to the game too. It's not really impactful or changes the game in any way, but again, it's just something visual for entertainment purposes that I thought was really cool. Tracers, they could add different death effects, or add a little more flair for you, if you will. For example, the electric tracer rounds would electrically kill enemies, and it'd have a whole electric audio effect. I think that's really cool, but again, a lot of these things are kind of behind the paywall in the store, so it's not really for everybody. It's just something if you really wanted it to. But again, I thought it was something really cool, and they especially look cool in the night mode. If you take your quad nods off and you shoot your tracer rounds, they look cool, but again, it's not really applicable or advantageous in any way. Alright, and I wanted to talk about the operator skins. I think these skins are probably some of my favorite in any game, and I say that, but they're not really, all sorts of flashy or crazy like they are in games, like Apex Legends, or maybe in something like PUBG where you can literally wear a dinosaur suit. I think these are really cool because they kind of were an ode to, real world operators, and again, keeping things realistic. I think it was super cool having, the Milsim skins. I think those were done fantastically. For example, I really like the JW Grom skin, Polish Special Forces, and they focus on chemical warfare, and he's featured with a gas mask on. I think things like that, just those small details that really make the game feel that much more polished and that much better. And we also have some really cool ones, exciting theme skins, things, like our Halloween event skins, or just anything that's kind of outlandish. We had things like Dr. Karlov, or the other skins, was it Ghostface we have now too, super cool skins. And those are obviously not super realistic, but again, I think they were just well done and they look really good. I think most excitingly here, when it comes to the operator skins, Activision did a really good job of working with real operators and implementing them into the game. So for example, we have Ronin Tactics, or Tulam, ex-Green Beret. I think currently he just does loads of training courses for, military and police forces. But I think to his respect, they did his skin really well, right? You know, they gave him the exact kit, the exact weapon loadout that he uses in real life into the game. I think that was super awesome just to see, and to see that they are working, you know, with real world people. But even to that, you know, they came out with another skin of his where he's a samurai skin with quad nods. And I think this thing looks absolutely ridiculous. It looks awesome though. It's so cool. But again, you know, it's just kind of adding that twist to, you know, our real world guys. I think it's just so cool. But, you know, among that, it's just, you know, something visually to look at. Again, none of these really offer any advantage, I guess, unless you talk about the rose skin, which, you know, pitch black, sitting in a corner, literally almost invisible. But, you know, most of the skins are there just for fun and for the visual effect, and I think they did a really good job. Alright, lastly here, guys, we have the majesty and heartbreak and, you know, whatever emotions that this makes you feel, Warzone. We've had so many ups and downs with this, you know, cheaters, bugs, endless issues, but it came at the perfect time during quarantine. I think that's really made it pop off, and I don't think anyone expected it to be as big as it was, but it really changed the way we looked at battle royales. You know, the regular kind of copy and paste battle royale is, you know, run around, look for ground loot, get the best ground loot, you know, fight, you know, no coming back. It's literally, you know, one and done kind of deal. But in Warzone, they really implemented a lot of new features and aspects to the battle royale scene that I think other games should, you know, learn from. I think things like having your own loadout, you know, being able to call in your own weapons, you know, your fully kitted weapons, so that you can play exactly how you want to with the weapons that you want. And, you know, you can fit your loadout to match your play style, so there is no, you know, oh, I only have a shotgun and a SCAR, so I have to play maybe a little more aggressive. Or, you know, you can't find that sniper rifle, so you can't, you know, sit back and kind of snipe. Whereas in Warzone, you totally had those options available to you because of what your loadout was. And so I think that was a major hit to, you know, the battle royale world, was just being able to have your own custom loadouts. And I think another thing of this, again, saying it's, you know, one and done, you're dead, it's over. Having the gulag, being able to fight someone else who's died, you know, to come back into the game is an absolutely awesome way, I think, to earn back, you know, that extra life and to come back into the game. I thought it was so cool, totally revolutionized. You know, there's tons of memes about the gulag, you know, tons of things that I think it's popped up now in pop culture a ton. And, you know, no other battle royale really had that, where you're, you know, fighting another player that's just died to, you know, make your way back. But of course, you know, you have the buy station where you can buy your teammates back as well. I think maybe similarly to this, Apex has the whole banner system where you have to collect your teammate's banner and then go to the respawn truck. And I think that's really cool, but I don't think it was as revolutionary as having, you know, the gulag where you're fighting someone else. It's really awesome. And I think Warzone also taught us a lot of different ways to play Call of Duty. You know, I think now you have a lot of guys that like to rush and push and be aggressive, or, you know, maybe you have guys who like to focus on really long range snipes, which, you know, is a totally separate skill set within its own. It's so challenging to do those things. You know, hats off to anyone who can. Or we have guys like Jowo, who showed us that, you know, being a slippery snake with your movement is a totally viable way to play, and, you know, works. And so you have so many different people playing with a lot of different play styles. Obviously, we don't condone campers on this channel, so stop camping. But, you know, there's so many different play styles that you can have in Warzone. And again, having your loadout, having a play style, you can totally cater each game to how you want to play it. But again, it didn't come without its ups and downs. And I think right now Warzone is in a spot that it's kind of meh. I mean, lack for a better word. It's okay, you know, the cheaters aren't really there. Ricochet has been doing a good job, actually, which I'm surprised about. You know, so not as many cheaters. But again, I feel like the map and going back to the whole World War II era has just been done so many times, and we're kind of tired of it. I think keeping things in the modern realm would have done it a little bit better, and I think that's why people loved Warzone when it first initially dropped, is that, you know, we had, you know, this real world event, or real world location, Verdansk. You know, we had all these operators, all these real world weapons, and it just felt good. It felt smooth. It felt clean. It was, you know, modern, and it just overall, I think it came at the perfect time. You know, good mix of everything that a lot of people wanted in a Warzone experience, or excuse me, a battle royale experience. And I think, Warzone as it is now is slowly dying out, but I think at the time of Modern Warfare, when it came out, it was just such a good game. It was phenomenal. But guys, that's going to be it for me. That's all I have to say. I think we really don't know how good we had it with Modern Warfare 2019 as compared to the last two titles we had, which would be Black Ops and Vanguard. I think Modern Warfare 2019 blows almost any Call of Duty we have out of the water. I even think it blows Battlefield 2042 out of the water, and that game came out 2 years later. So, I mean, I think if they can really work on what they have with Modern Warfare 2019 and implement that into, Modern Warfare 2 coming out this year and build upon it, I think we're going to have probably the best Call of Duty game we will ever see with Modern Warfare 2, guys. Again, guys, please be sure to like, subscribe, all that stuff. Leave any comments and feedback down below, anything good or bad, and I really appreciate it. Peace.